Am I live? Does it work? Yeah, audio is coming through. I think my voice is potentially getting drowned out by the music, so let me drown that out a little bit more. Cool. Alrighty. So I haven't streamed in a little bit, to be fair. When was the last time I streamed? YouTube. Am I logged in on YouTube? No. Maybe I'll just go on Twitch. Maybe I'll see my last. Oh, yeah, pause that, otherwise there'll be a loop. Videos. When did I last? I don't know. I don't know when I last streamed, but I haven't streamed every time I've done this challenge. I'm currently 2 days behind, including this, including today. I think I last streamed around about here-ish, and I haven't streamed the last few, and it's largely just due to just finding it really hard, like not really being able to kind of digest the information and think of a solution and confident enough to do that while streaming, because I just kind of felt like I was sat there thinking blankly a lot of the time. So, but I'm on today because I actually have an idea, because I was in Discord and I was like, look, I can't see a pattern in yesterday's challenge, but I was doing this today, so day 10. So I'm currently working on day 10, even though today's day 11. And I was in Discord and I said, yeah, I can't see the pattern. And Chris Dent gave me a tip, which was, it just snowballed from there. And that tip really helped, because then it really then helped me kind of visualize what I wanted to do. So then what I did is, I just, using my Remarkable, I jotted down a plan. And what I want to do now, before the stream started, was actually just trying to get my Remarkable screen to share with with Windows here. And it's weird, because if I go on my Remarkable and I go to share screen, it's just like, go to my.remarkable.com to enable this feature. And I don't really see where, and there's nothing really in their docs to say, hey, this is where you need to go in your account to go enable it. And I want to do a live screen share, because I might play around with the notes I've taken. But I mean, the main thing is I want to kind of explain the notes. I got to explain the challenge, the current challenge. I need to do that first. Let's log into my Remarkable Cloud account, I guess. To enable it, something, somewhere, somehow. Manage Connect, is it this? This is just billing. Integrations. Okay. All right. Maybe I need to do this first. Okay. Cool. I wonder if this is it now. I wonder if I need to turn it off and on again. Let me go back on my Remarkable to the home screen. No, I'm on Wi-Fi. It's uploading quick sheets right now, which is where my notes are. I could just do that like an offline sort of share. Am I on the same Wi-Fi as this device? Yeah. Yeah, I am. Let me try again sharing it, see if it still moans. Oh, here we go. Present with screen share. You can stream content from your Remarkable on another screen by connecting to the desktop app. Connect your Remarkable and desktop to the same Wi-Fi network. I'm on LAN here, but let's see. Open the app on your desktop and then connect from your tablet. Accept the connection from your desktop screen and then start presenting. Connect to app. Now I should see something apparently here. Ooh. This is cool. So apparently if I hover, a red dot will appear. That's awesome. That's cool. I'm sorry it's white and it's probably blinding right now. There's no dark mode. Come on guys, where's the dark mode? Can I zoom? No, okay, alright. Well, these are my notes. That's awesome. So what happens if I flick between? That's nice. It follows through. So that's notes from I think yesterday or the day before, where there was an idea of smoke in the challenge and needing to understand which tunnels or areas, directions in a tunnel had the most height available because smoke kept low, so it's considered a safer route. And then the next challenge was to understand the basin route, something or other, but I don't know. I used the same note taking, and for that challenge it was amazing how much it enabled clear thought for me, because it was just amazing. Once I jotted down everything I wanted to do, how I wanted to do it, it really enabled me to kind of see shortcuts, pitfalls. I think I'm going to do this on everything moving forward. So there's layers. Can I change? Oh, you can see all of this. That's interesting. Set to landscape view? What does that look like? That doesn't help you, doesn't help me either. Set to portrait view. I want to there's all these like lines here that you can kind of see where it's not really drawing the graph correctly, and I just want to get rid of them real quick. There's a button somewhere here for that. Is it layer, template, isn't it? Yeah, here we go. Blank. That's better. It's interesting because the text isn't as smooth. Right, anyway, let me read the problem for the sake of the video. Let me go to yesterday's challenge and read it out just for the sake of the video. So you ask the submarine to determine the best route out of deep sea cave, but it only replies syntax error in the navigation system online, all of them. All of them? The damage is worse than you thought. You bring up a copy of the navigation subsystem, which is your puzzle input. The navigation subsystem syntax is made of several lines containing chunks. There are one or more chunks on each line. Chunks contain 0 or more other chunks. Adjacent chunks are not separated by any delimiter. If one chunk stops, the next chunk, if any, can immediately start. Every chunk must open and close with 1 or 4 legal pairs of matching characters. So if it opens with a regular bracket, must close with the same corresponding. The square must close with the same corresponding square. Curly, less than, greater than, or crocodile, whatever you want to call it as well. So brackets is a legal chunk that contains no other chunks, as is square brackets. More complex but valid chunks include, and here are some examples of what those look like. So complete sort of whole chunks here, where they they open and close correctly with their corresponding, and they can be encapsulated too. All right. And then here's an even bigger one where there's one of each, but it kind of shows encapsulation like an onion. And then this is more of an interesting one because you have a parent chunk containing several other chunks, some individual, some sub onions, if you like, right? So if you will, and then you kind of got like this weird one here where it's kind of a sub encapsulation of encapsulation. So there's quite complex ones, right? And then you've got this one as well. Some lines are incomplete, but others are corrupted. Find and discard the corrupted lines first. A corrupted line is where one chunk closes with the wrong character. That is, where the characters it opens and closes with do not form one of the 4 legal pairs listed above. Examples of corrupted chunks include, and you can see here an example, corruption is where one does not close with what it opened with, basically. And a corruption can be encapsulated by several valid ones. But the idea here is that whatever you open with, you must close with. There's another example of corruption. Such a chunk can appear anywhere within a line, and its presence causes the whole line to be considered to be corrupted. So as soon as you detect corruption, that's it, the whole line is corrupted. For example, consider the following navigation system. You just have a bunch of examples here, short examples. Some of the lines aren't corrupted, just incomplete. You can ignore these lines for now. The remaining 5 lines are corrupted. So these lines are all from up here. So that just shows that it's like half that are incomplete and there's half that are corrupted. And what it means by incomplete is that there is no corruption on that line. It's just missing more characters in order to successfully close chunks. Or fully close chunks. Whereas corruption is potentially incomplete and incorrectly resolved or closed chunks, and incorrectly meaning that it does not close with the same character that's been opened with. So it's quite a pickle. It's a tricky one. Let me just finish reading. Stop at the first incorrect closing character on each line. Did you know that syntax checkers actually have contests to see who can get the high score for syntax errors in a file? It's true. To calculate syntax error score for a line, take the first illegal character on the line and look it up in the following table. Closing character is 3, square is 50, and so on. It's true. To calculate the error score on a line, take the first illegal character on the line and look it up. Ooh. I hadn't considered that in my notes, but let me circle back around to that. I was so focused on trying to find corrupt lines, I didn't... I'm sure I can work that in. Okay, anyway. In the above example, an illegal closing regular bracket was found twice. Because its single value is 3, because it was found twice, 6 points. An illegal closing square bracket was found once, 57 points. An illegal curly brace closing was found once, it's for 1,197, and so on. And the idea here is that the total syntax score, error score for this file is the sum of those. And then the challenge is find the first illegal character in each corrupted line of the navigation subsystem. What is the total syntax error score for those errors? So basically, find all the corrupted lines, find the first illegal character, get its score, oh, hang on a minute. In the above example, so it's not just get the what is the total error score, what is this total syntax error score for those errors. So it's not just a case of getting the score from each line, it's actually multiplying how many unique occurrences there are across all corrupted lines. That's a terrible explanation, but a simple one here is that across all of these examples, across this example of 10 or so lines, it founded 5 lines, and then there were 2 lines that had the same incorrect closing symbol, to which then you multiply that by its score, which gives you 6. So I have to keep track of that. That I haven't put in my notes because I hadn't thought about that, but I will. Anyway, that's the problem. Yeah, I've been trying to work my head around this, but I had literally no idea. I was staring at this example for hours trying to concoct or recognize a pattern to be able to understand, hey, which ones are corrupt? Well, sorry, what's the difference between the ones which are corrupt and not? And it was so good that Chris gave me his tip. And the tip was... What was the tip? Okay. Those complete chunks are really boring. Can you just ignore them? So his tip suggests, can you ignore... Oh, let me get rid of the RDP sort of visual shit there. The wording was, those complete chunks are really boring. Can you just ignore them? So my idea was find all complete chunks. And I'm determining a complete chunk by being the opening immediately following the closing. And then continuously loop repetitively over the string until you've got no more. Because what you'll find here is that here there are two valid chunks. There's one containing one. But if I were going to, in one iteration over the string, I would not identify this outer chunk and only the inner chunk. So I have to repeatedly loop over and check the string multiple times, right? Continuously find any complete ones. It's quite inefficient, I guess, but I can't think of any other way, at least. And then just keep doing that until there aren't any. And this is where I'll bring up the remarkable. This is really cool. Let me try this. So in order to solve this, in order to take a puzzle input, which by the way is very similar to this, but like all of them, much bigger. So this is the input. So all varying lengths. And in order to identify corruption, but also not confuse that with incompleteness, you have to discern between one or the other. Is this a complete line? Is this an incomplete line rather? Or is it corruption? I hit that brick wall a couple of times. So first step, I haven't coded this yet, so I literally just jotted it down on here, is step one, right? So loop over and remove all complete chunks until none are left. So like I described, take the string, find all immediate pairs to each other, do that over and over and over again until there aren't any. And I've kind of put a little bubble here describing what I mean by complete. So complete brackets here, or sort of operate here for regex, just to kind of say this or this or this or this. Thought about making this a function here, so I've got a little note, and I'll circle back around to this. This is a note including that. But then as soon as you're done with step one, which is looping, we just go down to loop two. You kind of have to cope with my poor noting here, my kind of terrible handwriting and structure to noting. It's just lines all over the place. So then we got that final string. So then we convert it to a character array, and then we just go for each character, find the corresponding closing character. So if it's I can show this as an example. So if we take the example line, if we take this corruption line here, this is a really good example here. Let me zoom in. So the idea with step one is to remove everything and anything that becomes an immediate pair. So I'll write a little for each or while loop here. So at this point we haven't got any. We can immediately see where the corruption is, but how do we find it? So this is step one, but then step two says, right, get me the first character, find a corresponding closing character. So I'll just keep going in the list until I eventually hit this one. And then what I do is I take this string, this substring, and I feed it to the first step again. To which then I, let me just double check that. Yeah, so find a corresponding character. So yes, I found the character. So then I repeat the loop from step one. So again, I try and, because the theory is that every parent chunk should resolve all child chunks. They all boil down to one perfect pair, and there's encapsulation. Regardless, they should always unravel and unpeel perfectly. So the idea here is that if I do that same while loop like I do in step one, I then measure after that loop is finished and the condition is broken, I then measure the length of that. And if it is 0, then I've actually got a complete chunk. This is a genuine chunk that resolved correctly. So then I move up onto the next character. where the next character would be not the one immediately after, because that's quite inefficient, because I've already resolved that chunk. I would actually go on to the next character after the incomplete chunk. But that's in that scenario where where the length is 0. But in this scenario, the length won't be 0, because you cannot resolve this chunk, because there's no matching pairs for any of these characters within this chunk. So this is corruption, but I know that because the length of that string is not 0. So then I found that corrupt line. So that's how I identify corrupt lines. I have a little tangent here within step 2 to identify incomplete lines. I know it says in the instruction to not care about incomplete lines. It says it somewhere, and yeah, some lines are incomplete, but others are corrupted. Find and discard the corrupted lines first. Blah blah blah. I think it says it more literally somewhere else. Some of the lines aren't corrupted, just incomplete. You can ignore these lines for now. I think I might need those later. So yeah, the idea behind incomplete lines is a really nice example here. I think this first line is not corrupt. Yeah, that's right. So this is a nice example. So same process again. Loop 1, step 1 is to loop over and remove all immediate kind of recognizable perfect pairs, right? So I'll just go through, I'm doing it manually just to illustrate what would happen in code. And then ideally what you'll be left with at that point is nothing but opening characters. There is an exception here, which I haven't got in the notes, which I will add. But you'll end up with something like this, to which then step 2 will then say, well, when I get to that point of removing all complete brackets, again, I'll loop through each character, and then I'll be starting with the first character to try and find its corresponding closing character. My handwriting's awful, you probably can't read that. But the idea with that is that there is no corresponding character. So then we actually just deem that as incomplete, right? So then that's how we say incomplete. So this, and I just keep a record of those. I'll throw it into an array somewhere and keep track of the index of whatever. And I just got a little note here, pretty much summarizing what I said a minute ago. Every parent chunk must resolve all child chunks, if there are any. So if an onion contains other layers of onions in any kind of order, then they should kind of, unravel, right? Now, the idea of that condition where this is not always true, on my desktop here I ran into it. Which was it? Was it the second corruption line? I think it was. Yes, it was. So in the example, the second corrupted line kind of breaks my thinking here. But so step 1 is to remove all perfect pairs. Is this the same one I just did? No, it's not. Remove all perfect pairs. So a lot of these will end up coming out, right? That will come out. Now there's no more perfect pairs. Now the issue is that step 2, after you've removed all perfect pairs, is to iterate over each character and find a corresponding closing character. Well, and if I didn't find its corresponding closing character, I would consider that line as incomplete. So because I want to track incomplete numbers and I need to track corrupt lines, not numbers, sorry, I will hit an issue here with step 2 because there is no corresponding closure here, but there is absolutely corruption because there is a closure, but it is not of any previously seen characters. So I'll have to add in a step, like an if condition here. I'll have to say, track each character you see, and if you encounter a closing character, and it is not a member of any of the corresponding opening characters that you've previously seen, that is corruption. So it's quite an edge case. It's quite an interesting or clever example that they've thrown in there to catch you off guard with that one. But then I got a little cloud here as well to kind of add in a bit of a performance thing where track and skipped previously checked characters. So if I'm working through, if I go back to the previous example here, if I undo all this and go back to the previous example, which is a really nice example, the optimization is that I've seen this, okay, keep a record of it, okay, and then you'll go on to this and this. Well, let me elaborate a little bit more. You'll see this and you'll notice that there are no closing characters as I loop through every subsequent character in the string. So I'll make note that I've seen this one. I'll do the same for this one and this one too, but then I'll reach this one and I'll be like, well, I've already evaluated this. I don't need to loop again any further in the string. I'll just kind of move on to the next character, and the same will happen here with the opening bracket. It will recognize the exact same, and again and again. So hopefully it won't need to repetitively walk through and loop through again the remainder of the string if it's already previously seen those characters. So yeah, it's going to be a lot of expensive looping with this. But yeah, I'm excited to code it and then kind of go back to square one with bashing my head against the wall with part 2, and I'm still a day behind. So I actually need to take a quick bio break. I need to quickly go downstairs. So before I get started, I'm just going to jump on the Be Right Back, and we'll get this done. I'm excited to get this done. Be right back. Alrighty, I'm back. So let's do it. Let's code it. Let's get this nasty white screen off and let's jump in. That's a really cool feature of the Remarkable. Alrighty. So step one, I need to ingest the file. What files have I got? I've got previous attempts here. Previous failed attempt. So we're on day 10. Yeah, it's day 11 today, but I'm doing day 10s, and I have the example input with some extra text in there that I use to help me kind of troubleshoot and stuff. So yeah, I got stuck on this one pretty badly. And I'm not too offended when I get stuck and ask for help, and I'm not too offended when I look at other people's code. I definitely did that in, I think it was day 8. Is it day 8? Yeah, day 8. Day 8 was the segments and the digital numbers, and they were all jumbled up. All the segments were jumbled up, and you had to decipher the output numbers. I got really stuck on that one, and I ended up reading Nathan Zenit's code, and it was really nice because I read it, I understood it, closed it, wrote it out. So I understood how he solved it. I just had to kind of run with it from that. And yeah, the code is pretty much the same, just in a different style, I guess. So yeah, I'm not too offended if I do that, if I ask for help. I just, so long as I understand the problem and that I write the code for it, I'm happy with that. I just want to be able to finish it this year. But sucks that I haven't been able to stream every day, but it's mostly just confidence, really. Mostly just confidence of wanting to stream and do it, but not wanting to just sit there in a boring stream while I overly complicate it while reading it and failing to understand it, you know? So, I don't know. But this time I thought it'd be nice to jump on and do it because I took the time to kind of write it down first, ask for help, took the time to write it down, and yeah. It's not called data. What is it? What is the data? It's input navigation subsystem, right? That's what it is. Navigation subsystem. Just kind of keep it on theme, I guess. So what does that look like when I throw it into the file? Into a variable? Import it? Okay. And it is an array. So then for each line in the nav, I think I'm going to end up using 4 in range loops, not for each loops, but I'll just roll with it for now. Let me get the Remarkable up in front of me so I can watch my notes as I go, read my notes as I go. Alrighty, so loop and remove all complete chunks. So symbols, maybe a hash table for lookup, right? So if you get that, then if you give that, then you would get this in return. And I would just do the same for pretty much every other bracket type in the subsystem syntax. Navigation system syntax. Alright. Got this Cornelius keyboard and I love it, but I do forget the key map I put on it sometimes. Cool. Now I want to do the inverse as well. I want to be able to say, hey, if you give me that, then you give me that, right? Well, I don't know, I might not need that. I'll roll with just this for now. Alright, so step 1 is loop and rename remove all complete chunks until none are left. So right? Do something till a while. I think I want to walk over it once before I check the condition, I'm pretty sure. Well, how do I remove things? Temp line equals line. I'm just going to check strings aren't like referenced objects, are they? So if I... Is X already defined? Is that the problem? Yeah. That's interesting. You might have X, right, as a variable that contains an integer, and you can't overwrite it in PowerShell to a different type. That's interesting. Alright, whatever. Just give me a different variable. And then if I do ABCDEF equals ABC, and if I update ABC to world, what is DEF? Okay, yeah, there it is. Sometimes in PowerShell, when you create an object, typically a hash table or a PS custom object, and you want to clone it, so you want to assign it, what you generally might do is what I just did. You would say, okay, we'll take the current value of ABC and put it in DEF. And then you would go back and modify DEC. And then you'll see here that as expected, DEF was not modified, but in some objects in PowerShell, they're references and they do change, even though you've assigned them at that point in time to another variable. Those original references do change, and then the reference in the new variable that you later assigned it to will contain that change. I was just making sure strings don't do that. I didn't think they did, but I was just being, I don't know, I guess so. So what I'd want to do is create a temp line, because this temp line is going to have a bunch of substring sort of removal stuff on it. Done. Probably a regex. That's a really good point. I could do that with regex. Yeah. Because I could do take temp line and replace anything that is... Let's do a bit of escaping here. Yeah, I could do that one. Or I could just keep going. Yeah, this could work. I think this is special in the world of regex, and then, or is it? No, I don't think it is. I think this one is though. Yeah, that works. So this would remove it. I think I want to reassign as well. Yeah, I do. So I put in a temp one because I want to preserve the original value. But I need to come up with a condition. So go through and replace them while something. So what I'm thinking of here is, how do I check that there are no more perfect ones of these? I guess with match, but the same regex, right? So it would look for, well, do this while not match that. Like, that could work. So if I did that same regex with this string, that should return true, because there are a couple of perfect pairs. Yep. And if I go through and kind of remove some of them, if not all of them. Let me zoom in here for the benefit of nobody watching. Yeah, so there are no perfect pairs here, and it should return false. Yeah, I could do that. That's quite a simple loop then. Alright, so let me do regex and throw that in there. Do while temp line not match? Yes. Ah, cool. Ooh. No, I want match. I want to do it until there are still those characters in there. So for instance, that would return true. Yeah, that's awesome. Does it still return true if I do this? Yes. Let me just throw another random one in there to be sure. Nice. Okay, so we're just gonna go through and gut out. So this is what I wanted to functionize. I got a little note here to say, oh, why is that bugged out? Okay. I got a little note here to say this looping mechanism that I just wrote, the do while. Actually, do I want it to be do while? Because I guess it doesn't really matter. Because on any that didn't happen to have that perfect matching, it won't make a change. To which point it was probably wasteful doing the loop in the beginning, doing the first iteration. So I don't think I want do while. I think I can do that check up front, even though it's kind of rare, right? But if I'm going to functionize it, it might improve performance marginally. Alrighty. So back on here. So I wanted to functionize it because it's going to be called again. That same sort of little looping routine is going to be called again for when I then go through and loop through each character. So this, but I'll probably functionize it when I've got more fleshed out code. I don't mind kind of copying and pasting code just to get a working example now. Okay, so I've got that then. So for each character, find the corresponding closing character. Alrighty. So we have the new temp line. And then for each char, I guess, in the array of characters, cast that string to a character array. Now, if no, I now want to. This is where a for in range loop would actually make a for in range loop would actually make sense. I want to take the current character and I want to see if I can find its corresponding closing character, and I want to get its position. So navigation subsystem, if I put that into line, but the first string, and then if I put temp line here and define the regex variable, yeah. I'll just run this little routine here. Then it leaves me with that, perfect. And so this line 1 would become an incomplete line. Let's do a for in range loop because I know this in this example that it's an incomplete line, but I know there are scenarios where I really want to know the index positions, particularly when I'm looping find a perfect chunk, but I know it's probably a corrupt or a missing line, so I need to skip a bunch of steps. I need to skip a bunch of positions. So I do want to, even though in this particular example the code, the string that's in the console, I know I'll not want to do that. Let's do S. S for start. And then I would loop again. Now what you can do, right? There is a cool little index of thing in PowerShell, like it is in most languages, where you can request from the array the index of a given character, but if there are multiple, you'll get nothing, which is interesting. No, if you get multiple, it's -1. And I don't want that. I want the position. Does index of have an overload where you can say, give me the first? There's a few. The next step is to then see if it contains it at all. I could just loop blindly and do the check, right? So the character is line, temp line, S, right? And I now want to know if from position +1 up until the end, does it contain the corresponding closing character? Could do a sub loop, right? And so I guess, right? So if it do it, call it F, and its position would be S. Its starting position would be S+1, and then we would do F for as long as it's less than temp line again dot length, and then for each iteration we will increment F. So we'll have a starting position and a finishing position, and then we would want to know is current character in S+1 equal to the first character's closing symbol. If it is, I want to take that and just put an ABC now because I just want to put this down. I will name it something better. I want to take that string in range. I want to take it from S to F, and I want to feed it back to this while loop. And I want to break it down. I want to do it until there aren't any. There is a substring thing, right? Substring. Start index, and length. That's cool. So then if I then took this and I said, right, well, get me everything from there, well, from, I don't know, how many characters we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So there are 10 indexes there. Let's do it from 8 for the length of 2, and that will give me 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 for the length of 2. This and that? Yeah. Interesting. I do want to functionize this. I think I'm just going to throw it in a function now because I need it to be a function. I'm just going to give it an awful name now. Deduce chunks. And it will take a parameter of just string, and then we will while string. I need the regex. Where else do I use regex? Nowhere. Cool. I could just make that part of the function and don't need it in the outer scope. Cool. Now, if the... Ooh, I need to rename a couple of these. This one. If string... So now what I'm working on is this logic. This. And it kind of plays into why this little section here when I talk about functionizing this while loop here. Function with a string of param. And the idea here is I'm checking if the length of the, after looping, the length of the string, and I want it to return false if it's greater than 0. But if it's 0, position of end of string. But I'm giving it a substring. I think I'll have to track that somewhere else. What was the idea behind it returning false? I think just true or false might need to be its output. Yeah, okay, so if string dot length equal 0, true, else, false. Right? If it's 0, then you've done your job. We've got all the chunks. And if you couldn't, then you return false. So then we do that here, right? Ooh, if I couldn't, don't I want to return the string itself so I can continue processing it, right? Yeah, I think I do. I think its return needs to be the string itself. It does. Or does it? Yeah, it does. Is a string equal to true always? No, that's good. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so if the string length is equal to true, then equal to 0, then that means we've resolved all the chunks within the string. It's true. If we haven't, we return the string. So then temp line becomes the deuce chunks where we just give it temp line. Cool. And because I've done that, I actually want to use that here. So I would actually give it, I would call deduce chunks again, but its string would be the substring of temp line. And its position would be S, and its length would be, not necessarily F. Or would it be? Would it be F? The second parameter of substring is the length of how many count after S to take. And I do think that is F. Because default F is S plus 1, and that will grow. And we will only be doing that until we've reached the end of it. Just going to do a real quick check here. Is this 1? Yeah, that's 1. Okay. Yeah, I think it's F, pretty sure. I can debug it later and check. Okay, so this is going to return true or the string. So if this returns true, I'm just going to put it in result. Oh, I just deleted it. Go result, put it in there. Now if result is equal to true. Oh, can you cast a string as bool? It's true. What's an empty string as boolean? False. Interesting. Okay, yeah, no, I'll keep with this check for now. If it's true, what does it mean if it's true? That means its length is 0 and we've managed to deduce, and that means we now want to go back up to this for loop, setting a new value for S. So I will define S as F plus 1. And break. That will break this loop. It will go out to this loop. S will change, and we'll continue the string. And oh, I got something wrong here. Oh no, I used char. Yeah. Yeah, I'm just gonna keep it nice and obscure. Why not? I think this works. And if it's not true, no longer active. I can go in my quick sheet. That's okay. Yeah. So if it's no longer active. Sorry, if it's not true. Then we found a corrupt line. That's right. Yeah, if it's not true, then we found a corrupt line. This is a corrupt line. That means we can break out of this. I need to put a label here. I'm just going to do a really nasty thing here. Corrupt lines. Incomplete. And I'll just use a lazy operator to append to these arrays. This is an array initializer. Else. This is a corrupt line. And I need to put a label here so I can break out of this entire loop. But I can't remember the syntax for for loop label break PowerShell. I think it's a colon and something, I think. Just check docs, label. I was just on it. Using a label in the break loop. Yeah, my label, then break the parameter with the name of the label. So, I don't know, my break. I'll name it something better in a bit. Break my break. Cool. because once I found a corrupted line, as soon as you find one bit of corruption, that's it. The whole line is crap. So then there's literally no point walking through each character anymore, right? But there is another check here. So I've gone down this path where for each character find a corresponding closure character, and if I do find it, repeat the looping sequence, right? And I've got a check now for this and this path, but I have not got a check for finding incomplete lines, which is not the current objective, but I need it. So in my current routine, if we're walking through here, how do I identify whether the line is incomplete or not? Well, I guess if this never happens, I could put the addition. Where do I put it? I don't want to put it at the end of this loop, and I most definitely do not want to put it here. I need a flag. Yeah, I need a flag. Okay. Found corrupt line equal true. Is it true or false? No, false the default to, and then we set it to right, and then I would say, right, well, if not found corrupt line, then I would add it to the incomplete lines. Okay, cool. This looks ideal. I like this. That syntax correct for the label? Yeah, looks good. Okay, so what else do I need to do? Oh, I need tracking as well. Yeah, I've got a little speech bubble here, little thought bubble here for tracking. So the theory behind tracking, I explained it earlier, was purely for optimization, like performance. There's no point checking if a character has a corresponding closing character if I've already checked that character and I'm still looping. There's no point. Where do I do that check of if character contains corresponding character? Oh, is it? Where is it? I use the symbols variable. It's here. Cool. Okay. Yeah. If ooh. Okay. Yeah. And I would want to reset that for every line. Right. Encountered chars. Terrible names, but I'm just rolling with it. And again, I'll use a lazy operator. Encountered character will become. Ooh. I will actually not want to do that within F. I want to do that within S, right? Yeah. If the character at the current position character of the current position hang on, let's do it the other way around. Encountered chars contains the character at the current position. Then we actually skip. There's no point looking at this line. There's no point looking at this character looping if we've already checked it out. Otherwise, we do the thing. Now, when do I append to encountered characters? I don't do it before, otherwise this will never happen. I do it here. I've encountered it, so I start looping. Yeah. So, encountered chars temp line S. I think that's it. Missing, oh yeah, incorrect bracket, which is ironic because syntax checking is the objective. Cool. Okay, I think that's good now. It's comical that I'm adding performance measures and I'm using kind of non-performant array additions, but I wonder if there's a faster way. I wonder if there's a faster way. Yeah, it might be with a hash table. If it encountered chars was a hash table, then this could be, I think I did a similar thing in a previous challenge. I just +1 on its existence, and in here the check would be if encountered chars. It's literally just this then, right? No longer to loop. That would be a relatively quick thing to do. So if I create a hash table here and I see if a key exists, like do not exist, do I return true or false? False. Yeah, cool. That's a better way of doing it. Corrupt lines. Yeah. I'll live with that. I think that's it. I could probably run this now, I think. So from the top, loop and remove all complete chunks until none are left. So for each line, deduce chunks, which is strip anything out that matches this pattern. Do that until the pattern no longer matches, and if the length of it is true, if the length of it is 0, return true. That means we successfully deduced all chunks, removed them all. I think remove chunks might actually make sense as a function name, and we can put a hyphen in it to make it more friendly. Chunk, I think I spelled chunks wrong, right? Yeah, chunks. How do you spell chunk? I've said word chunk so many times. Chunks. No, I spelled it right. I don't know. I think so. Remove chunks. There you go. The only thing is here, I don't have a check if chunks is true, but that's never going to be true at this stage because I know all lines are corrupt or incomplete, as it says it pretty much here. Syntax error in navigation subsystem on all lines. Cool, yeah, so we go through that process of loop and remove. Made it a function, it returns false if not resolved, or position of the string, which I didn't bother doing, I did something else. And then step 2 is to iterate over each char and find the corresponding closing character. And I do that. So for each character, and I've got to check to see if I've encountered this character before. If I have, I go to the next character. If I haven't, I add it to the encountered characters hash table. And I create another new array where its position is +1 of S. Do that for the same amount of time, right up until the end of the string. And I basically need to know, is the current character the corresponding closing character of the first? If it is, I then need to deduce all chunks in that substring, right? Yeah. Hang on. Loop through the remainder of the string again, trying to find the corresponding closing character. If we find it, deduce that child chunk. Cool. If we do, great. That means it's a legit chunk, and like go again back to S, back to the string, but instead of going S +1 and going again, S would be where we finished up on where the +1 of the closing corresponding character from this condition. Cool. Yeah, nice. And then we break, and then we continue. Otherwise, we have found a corrupt line. And then we break out. Now, what I do not have at this stage. Yep, got that. So skip the chunk. Yeah, that's what I was talking about. Add the corrupt line. Incomplete line. Did I do that? Yeah, I did. Sorry. Yeah. And if we have not found corruption, and we do that until we've looped through everything on every single character in the string. If we have not found corruption, then it is an incomplete line. And we add that here. Now, that's the code, but there was that one other scenario that I need to put in. And I had a solid example for it. It was in one of these examples that I encountered it. I think it was the second one. Let me walk through the second one manually. Try and remember. So step 1 is to remove all perfect chunks, all one-to-one chunks. So I'll do this by hand just to iterate the process, and I will walk into that. It's this. Yeah. So I'm looping after I've removed all perfect chunks. And then I go through the process of walking through each character. So S, and then this is F. Let me zoom in here. So say that this is S and this is F. And then I'm just looking for that corresponding closing character. Right now, this is what I'm doing. I'm just going through looking for the closing square bracket, but I'm not going to find it. But the condition here is that, hey, I've already removed all perfect chunks, and the theory is that at this point you should be an incomplete line, which incomplete lines contain nothing but opening brackets just in any kind of order. You should not encounter any closing brackets. So I need to add a check for if you're searching through the string and you encounter a closing bracket, it's corruption. Now I did have another sort of bit of verbiage there. If you encounter a closing bracket of a not previously seen opening bracket, for instance, this. But I'm not sure if I need to go that far with checking. If S is just literally looping, the assumption is that S is always going to be an opening character, because the child loop F will grab its corresponding closing character. And then if it's a complete chunk, we will skip that chunk and continue moving. And we should not encounter any closing characters. And if we do, there is probably corruption. So I think I just need to do that in the first for loop while we're working on S. I think I just need to check here, somewhere around here. Just say, oh no, I need it around here. Or here. Yeah, I need it here. Or do I? No, I don't. No, I don't. No, I can add it right here before we do anything, literally. So if temp line in position S, or I could do this. Oh, I got a better way of doing this. What's the hash table name? Symbols. Values contains the character, then we actually have a corrupt line. And we can break out this loop. So when I'm out of this block, what happens if not found corrupt lines? Yeah, cool. So I need to set that Boolean as well, found corrupt line. That in theory is it. Let's run it and cry myself to sleep, because I'm hungry, I want dinner. So I probably don't want to work on this any longer. I should just be able to run this. Cool, so where's the ingest? Yep, there it is. Can I just, let's close and reopen the terminal in case of any variables. In fact, I'll just call the script. Oh wait, no, I'm not done yet. There's more. There's this stuff. Did you know that syntax checkers, I'll come back to that. This point system. Let me just check to see if I actually successfully extract the correct lines first. So let's run this in my console. I'm in the wrong folder. Corrupt lines. How many are there? It's 5. Oh, it's a good start. Incomplete lines. Should be 5. Fuck yes. Now I just need to do the cross comparison and making sure that they are the lines that are supposedly corrupt. So I'm just going to copy this whole thing, throw it in here, show a quick and dirty comparison. Yes, yes, that is beautiful. And then that leaves pretty much, in terms of incomplete lines, the opposite, right? So let me get the data up. So this is corrupt. This is corrupt. This is corrupt. This is corrupt. And this is corrupt. So in terms of incomplete lines, is this in there? I don't see it. No. Why are you in there? You shouldn't be in there. You bastard. Oh wait, no, you. That's not corrupt. Yeah, I nearly went down a rabbit hole there of false sense of information. Cool. This looks correct. Yeah, I was super confused then for a second. I was like, but I wrote it all down and everything. Yeah, cool. That looks gold. Awesome. Now I just need to do the point-based system, which is, let's refresh my memory. How do I calculate the points? Did you know that syntax checkers actually have contests to see who can get the high score for syntax errors in a file? It's true. To calculate the syntax error score for a line, take the first illegal character on the line and look it up in the following table. Oh my god. Yeah. My solution doesn't accommodate for that. Ah. So with what I've got, how do I find out the offending character? What I've done does not give me the offending character. Well, that's actually quite easy to find. And it will be in this variable at this point in here. Or here. So I need to find the first illegal character. Corrupt lines, illegal, or is it illegal or corrupt characters? Illegal characters is the word used, right? Illegal character. Illegal chars, and we'll make you an array 2. And this one's a simple one. Here, the very first check, it's literally just, we already know it straight up right off the bat. This is terrible logic. This is... No, this is good logic. No, what am I talking about? Okay, so the illegal character. Now, here I have to find out which is the illegal character in the result. And the result is the final bit of the string. So I guess the first one, the first illegal character will be the first character in the opposite direction. It'll be the first closing character. No, it wouldn't. No, it wouldn't. It wouldn't, because in one of the examples, I think it was this one, if I go through here and deduce this real quick, what do I end up with? So these two are good, this is good, this is good. So with the current code I have, it will identify this as a chunk. What's the first illegal character here? I'm claiming it's the first one in the opposite direction. Is that it? Oh no, it is. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, that would work. Then yeah, that's an easy find actually. Let's get the index position. Out of all the closing characters, I have to find which one appears first in an example like this. Can't use match because that would find all and it wouldn't give me the position. Cannot use index of because, again, that doesn't really tell me if it's the first one. While index of seems to take a parameter of giving me the first one, if I loop through each closing character and do index of with that overload, it won't necessarily mean, hey, this one is first. Oh wait, no, this one is first. You know, there's not. I could do it, but it's not pretty. I kind of want to loop again. Yeah, and then just go through this. Yeah. Kind of want to copy and paste this and put that here. Because this... Where's it gone? Did I just delete it by accident? No. Yeah, this. Because this will check if the current looked at character is in the list of closing characters. And then if it is, then that's it. I found my illegal character. Yeah, I just want to copy and paste that, but I should functionize it. And I don't need the for in range loop this. I could literally just do for each char in char array of result. What's this? Find first illegal character. Did I take out? I didn't even do the if statement. What twat? Excuse me. All right. For each character, if contains char, and that's that. Now I can break out as soon as I found it. I can break out of this loop, which will break me out of here, and it will return me to this. Yeah, that's it. So now I have illegal chars. Now the catch is that I might have I could do group, and it's an array. Yes. So what I'm thinking of here is I might have an array of like this. Let me just throw one more in, or two more in there for completeness. So the list of illegal chars might look like this, where I have two of these. And what I need to do is 2 times 6. I need to understand how many unique occurrences are of what. And I can just use group object for that, because that gives me a count. And of the, do I get the hash table as hash table? No, I need the count as well. What other parameters do I have? No element? What's that? Yeah, I could. Yeah, cool. As hash table? No. As string? No. Oh, what does as string do? I remember asking this the other day. Property. It's flat array. Culture, case sensitivity. Nice. And that's pretty much it, right? So then I just illegal chars, pipe that to group object, no element, for each object. Yeah, for each object, I then do, I need a sum, set that to 0. And then I just do sum plus count times the name. Ooh, but there's I can't just multiply by a string. There's a value for each of these. Do you know what? Instead of returning the actual legal char, the character itself, I could return the numbers of which they represent. And it could be an enum. For instance, score. Can I use special characters like this in an enum? No, you can't. You can't use... Do I escape it? That sucks. Okay, I'm not going to lose sleep over that. I will just do a hash table. No, I just need to look up the score of each. Pretty much just this. So this is free. Square close is 57. 1197. And so on. Now, when I add illegal char, I don't return the char, I return the score of the char. Which is cool. Let's cast this to string. Yeah, I do. That's a good catch. Yeah, that's a great catch. I would have made myself really annoyed had I not seen that. And then we illegal chars. We do the grouping of each count. Yeah, that's it. Sum. Let's do this with the example data. I got a syntax error somewhere. Duplicate keys. Okay. Did I paste that wrong somehow? Let's open this up real quick. Free, blah, blah, blah. Oh. Yeah, so this should be it. Let's execute the file. AOC day 10. I don't know. Why is that returning 0? That's strange. Let's jump in the debugger real quick. So at this point, illegal chars contains nothing. Why does illegal char... Oh, wait. No. Oh, this is wrong. Run it again. Still nothing in there. That's crazy. Let's break at a line where I know it would be added. For instance, here. Score is defined and temp line what's S? 4. Why is S4? Temp line length is 4. I need to do -1. Something wrong here. I'm not going to break there. I'll circle back around to there, but I'm going to break here because I know very similar thing is going on here. Why am I not breaking? Launch current file. That's interesting. Oh, is it never been reached? What? Oh dear, what have I broken? Something's broken. My F+1 temp line S. Oh boy, I'm in all kinds of pickle here. So the current in 6 is changing with each run. That wasn't 6 a minute ago. Oops. Oh wait, have I still got crap in here? Yeah, I still got crap in here. There you go, you absolute twat, Adam. I'm just gonna run it again for sanity's sake. still 0. Okay, cool. So that at least that's resolved. Let's see what's up. S is 6. Temp line is this. Length is that. Score. That returns null. Do I have to cast it to a string? Yeah, look. Let's cast you to a string. Yeah, let's cast you to a string. That's quirky. What was the I wish I didn't come out of that now. Ah, I didn't even know you were there, Chris. Yeah, cool. I literally just spotted that. Watch your types. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I was literally just about to jump back into the debugger and see what that type was to understand why I had to cast it to string. I'm just going to do it now, just for my own sort of complete circle in my mind, real quick. Where am I? So line get type. Yeah, you're right. It's a char. Yeah, absolutely. They are type sensitive. Yeah. Do you know, I'm really interested to see how other people solve this, because this is pretty elaborate, and I've done some pretty janky things to be able to find the first offending illegal character. So I'm interested to see how other people solved it. So this should do it, I'm pretty sure, after fixing that and here too. Oh, is it there? No, it's further down. It's, no, I've done it already. Yeah, that should be it. So I should just be able to call this now. VS Code does that, I don't know why. There you go. Whatever that is. Yep. Matches, cool. Alright, let's grab my input. Gimme. Moment of truth. Yay! Yeah, massive thanks to you, Chris, on that one for the tip earlier. I did mention that at the start of the stream, and I pointed out what you tipped at. And I kind of walked through a little bit about how I was going to tackle it. I made like a big fat note about it earlier before I got to coding. I kind of scribbled all this mess out. But I did tip my hat to you for guiding me again. Now there's part 2. What's the leaderboard looking like before I read that? I'm curious. Has there been any progress? Yeah, it looks like... Oh yeah, Chris Kibble finished. So, okay, cool. Alrighty, sweet. Just going to read part 2, and I'm not going to stream doing part 2 because I'm going to go eat. I'm hungry, but let me just read it real quick. Okay, now discard the corrupted lines. The remaining lines are incomplete. Well, what's good about this is I actually have incomplete lines, because I had a flow here for that. I had a little kind of logical sort of deterministic thing for that, so I collected those. So that's good. Incomplete lines don't have any incorrect characters. Instead, they're missing some closing characters at the end of the line. To repair the navigation system, you need to figure out the sequence of closing characters that complete all open chunks in the line. You can only use closing characters, and you must add them in the correct order so that only legal pairs are formed and all chunks end up closed. In the example above, there are 5 incomplete lines. Complete by... So what is my input? Oh, okay. Complete by adding, presumably, that in order. Yeah. So this one's okay. Complete, okay. Did you know that autocomplete tools also have contests? It's true. The score is determined by considering the completion string character by character. Start with a total score of 0. Then for each character, multiply the total score by 5, then increase the total score by the point value given to the character in the following table. I don't understand that. Did you know the autocomplete tools also have contests? It's true. The score is determined by considering the completion string character by character. Start with a total score of 0. Then for each character, multiply the total score by 5 and then increase the total score by the point value given for the character in the following table. So the last completion string above, the last one, right, okay, would be scored as follows. Start with a total score of 0. Multiply the total score by 5 to get 0. Then add the value of that, 2. Multiply the total score by 5 to get 10. Then add the value of the next character, which is 1. Then multiply that by 5, then add the value of the next character, which is 3, 58. Then multiply 58 by 5, then plus. Okay, got you. The 5 lines completion strings have total scores as follows. Okay, so I do that for each incomplete line, and then what do I do with those? Auto are an odd bunch. The winner is found by sorting all of the scores and then taking the middle score. There will always be an odd number of scores. Okay, cool. The middle score, yeah, okay, that's not too bad. Because the middle score is 2. Yeah, because there are the same number of scores smaller and larger than it. Yeah, right, because that's the middle makes it odd. Yeah. Find the completion string. Yeah, okay, cool. So I just need to be able to complete and in correct order. I do not think that is difficult. I am going to jump off in a sec, but I just want to verbalize what that might involve. So I do have a pretty minging function to be able to deduce chunks. So I could take, and all this does is it takes an input string and it kind of recursively loops over that string until we remove all perfect chunks, so ones that are side by side, and then we're left with the string where that's not the case. And then hopefully if I fed an incomplete string, that will leave me a string of only the incomplete opening characters, and then I just append backward from back to front, so it gives me the corresponding closing as I'm reading it backward. That should actually be, I'm tempted to do that now. I don't think that'll take me long at all because I've got this function. So I know all of the incomplete part 2. I know all of the incomplete lines because I got a hold of them. And I just want to go for each line in incomplete lines. I then want to do the same of deducing them. Yeah, right, which is what I do. I create a new temp line. Yeah. Okay, cool. So temp line becomes remove chunks, and I would feed it the line. So then at this point, I would do I don't need to zoom in here. Again, just I'm gonna do backward. I'm gonna do F for finish and then start. So the initialize would be the end of the string, right? Of temp line. Would it be length -1? Yeah, it would be. If I'm going with indexes. And then I would do this until F equal to 0, I guess? No, I want to include the final character, so less than 0. And then I would subtract each time. And then I would basically append to the string the corresponding closing character, right? I think so. What was the name of the hash table? I can't remember what I named it. Symbols, just symbols. So symbols, then this symbols. Nope. Temp line. Position F, right? But the theory is at this point, I have a string that looks. Let's grab one from the example. Yeah. Let me feed that to the function real quick and see what that gives me back. The remove chunks function, just to kind of get it in my head. Yeah, cool. No, exactly. This works. So then the idea here is I'm just going to walk backward. Get me the corresponding closure of this append. Get me and the same again, and the same again, and the same again. Yeah, that could work. And then, but I actually need to keep track of those for the scoring system. And for each line too, right? Yes, I do. So for each line, I need to keep track of the ones that I've added back in. What do you call those? What are they actually called here? Getting hung up on a variable name here. It's not a big deal. It will reset for every line. Completing chars, I guess, right? And then I just add that to it, I guess. Or have I misunderstood? Nope. That's not it. No, that is it. Yeah. Hang on, let me read what I need to do with it. Did you know? Get them. And then loop over each character after you've got all of them. Start with a score of 0, multiply 5-bit, and add the value of it. There's a new valuing system here. Let's create a new score hash table. So this is just 1. This is 2. This is 3. This is 4. So then at this point, I've got the all the complete chars, right? I just need to go through this process of determining the score of that line. So in the parent loop, I'll have scores, I guess. Right? No. Poor variable names. I'm not getting hung up on that right now. I'm hungry. And I need to do some math here. So sum equals 0, start with it. And then for each char in completing chars, I need to go through and multiply its value, multiply the current score by 5. So sum equals sum by 5. And then I multiply, start with multiply total score by 5, then add the value. Multiply, then add. That's not too bad. Okay, so then sum is then just score the character, but I need to do the thing with string, right? I think, don't I? What was each char you add is scored. Hash table keys are type sensitive, but this, what would this give me? Array of strings, right? So I shouldn't need to type that. But I'm going to anyway, just because I can, or should. So then that would give me, I then just dump out the sum to the stream, then scores. And I have to sort scores. And I have to grab the middle one. How do I grab the middle one? Divide by 2 plus 1. Of the count. Index. Scores dot count divided by 2 brackets indices division plus 1. But I need to sort it first. Then I grab the index. Position. And then what's the actual thing it wants? What is the middle score? That should be it. Is this runnable? Can I just call the file and it gives me both things? Yeah, I think it does. Okay. AOC day 10. Something's to the output stream here that shouldn't be. Oh, it's this. Yeah, why did I do that? Where am I getting 0 from? Just jump in debugger here. Scores? There's nothing in scores. Sum. What's in the last sum? 0. Sum is 0 for each char and completing chars. Have I done it again? Yeah, I did it again. Yeah, I've definitely got something in incomplete lines. No, I haven't. No, I'm no longer in a debugger. Hang on a minute. Did I put a break? Yeah, I did. I've definitely got something in incomplete lines. These are the incomplete lines. But I think it's this shit again. I haven't typed it, but I don't think that's. I think that should still be a string because I'm referencing the position of a string. I don't think it's when you reference an index of string. I don't think it's still a string, right? Let's quickly test that. So position that is then. No, it's a char. Where do I want to put the bracket? Yeah, it's a char, so I've done it again. I do learn from my mistakes, promise. Twice on this occasion. Alrighty. Day 10. Still 0. Let's try again. Do I have anything in completing chars? No, I don't. What's temp line saying? Is there anything in sum? Oh, look, I'm referencing. They're all 0. I'm not adding the. I'm not getting the score correctly. I'm not referencing the hash table correctly. Symbols. I'm not getting completing chars. Initialize for each line. Walk back on the line for each character. Record it's completely. Oh wait, this is still defined. Yes. So what does this give me? So that's fine. I'm gonna break out of here and break in here. Temp line's not even. Oh, wait a minute. Am I adding a char to a string? I am. No. Am I? What's this? No, string to a string. So why is this not happening? Temp line? Yeah, why is this not happening? What happens when I do this? The for loop must be never happening. Why is the for loop not happening? Initialize. Temp line dot length, right? 14 minus 1, 13. Yeah, get the last position. Do it while f is less than 0. Does that do it while or do it until? Can't remember. Yeah, I think it's do it while, right? Is that it? answer is too low. Let's jump into here and take a look at the completing chars. Which was that line. Let's look at scores. What's the index? Wait, no, the index is wrong. Of course, it can't be half plus 2. Yeah, how do I get the middle? I mean, he's in there. I want the 25th. Well, I could just kind of bodge it and say minus 0.5. I'm going to Google it because I honestly don't know. Get middle index of array PowerShell. Finding the middle number in PowerShell. Piss off. Minus 1 divided by 2. Well, if I minus 1, it'll be 50. Yeah, okay, so I wasn't a million miles away. See, this is kind of how bad my math is, right? Okay. But I'd have to wrap that because of would evaluate first. I'm going to wrap it anyway. Alrighty, that should do it. This stupid debugger. What did I guess last time? So last time I guessed... Was it on this window I put it in? Did I put it in a different window? I don't know. Put it back in here. That's not the right answer. What did I guess last time? A lower number last time. I can't be a million miles off. That's reassuring. I hope you're the mistake there, Chris. I hope you're referring to the working out the middle. That kind of makes me feel a bit better. Okay. Yeah, the middle. Cool. I'm so close. I can feel it. I can feel it. Honestly, I can... Oh, am I not sorting in descending order? What's the value? I don't think it matters, does it? No, it doesn't. I guess the time is to validate one of the lines, right? The answer, the math, that seems quite high. If all I'm doing is for each character and completing chars, multiply the sum by 5, and then add the score. Oh, wait a minute. What does this give me? Does this give me... What's the type here? Int. No, that's good. Completing characters. So this is for this one. Cool. Oh, I'm missing one. Look at that. I need that. Am I incorrectly minusing 1 here on F? Well, no, because if a string has one element, has one thing in it, then its length is 1, and I don't want to index out of range. I'm finishing too soon though, but it doesn't make sense for that to be it. I'm going to remove it just for shits and see what happens, but I really don't think that's it. Have you seen this before, Chris? I've just killed the debugger, I've removed my breakpoint, I'm going to call the script again, and the breakpoint is still there. Get PS breakpoint, is it still really there? If I had to say the file, script, AOC, day, and no, yeah, so if I call the script now, debugger will kick in. Oh no, it won't. Talking out my ass, ignore me. Alrighty, that output is the exact same as before. Whoa. Oh, what is it? Do it while f is greater than 0. Reset sum to 0 for each character and completing chars. Well, that's just verify one of the answers. So I've got scores, right? And then the last one in the array will presumably be for the last completing chars string that I have in my console here, but only if I jump back into debugger. So scores, completing chars. So I need to, but even though temp line doesn't add up, I need to troubleshoot that. I'm still expecting to see. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that would be easier rather than manually doing numbers and stuff. Let me go back to the original data. That's a good point. The example data. I've got a banging headache. Let's break here again. In fact, yeah, scores. I think the last one is 58. So let's go back, scroll down. Oh, these are way off. Look at that. Where's that gone? What did I do with that? Oh, it's here. Yeah, look at that. Can I bring the scores side by side with the string? That would be quite nice, wouldn't it? I could do a hash table with that, maybe. No, never mind, I'm not gonna. The numbers are wrong, but it would be helpful to know which ones are wrong, specifically why. I do want to see the list of completing chars beside their score. So I'm just going to spend a minute getting that data back in. Just want to see it. Oh yeah, I didn't even take into consideration this. Right. Scores. It's an array of. It should have been a PS object rather than a hash table. And I am going to spend a minute fixing that. Because it'll be easier on the eye when comparing what is up. Cool, right, 100th time, scores. Here we go. So this one. Yeah, look, see, even this one, I'm one short of a character. Or am I? Yeah, here, look, I'm one short of a character. I'm not looking at every. Oh, I know what it is. I'm starting in. Yeah, I need to start at length -1. I just removed that though. Let's go again. Still not there. Oh, do it while it's this. Greater than 0. It's this. I need 0, but I don't want to go lower than 0. Yet I can't check for negatives. Yeah, I can. I think that still works, right? Yeah, there you go. Cool. Fixed. 294. Yeah, there you go. Cool, because I'm starving. Right. I can undo this and go back to putting that back as sum. And yeah, give me back my data. And that should do it, I think. See, that's what it's just done. I don't know if you saw that. I previously had a breakpoint come out of debugger, just called the script in the interactive console, and the debugger is tripped again. But if I cancel it and call again, then yeah. Yay! Look at that. That was fun. I really enjoyed that. That was my favorite one, I think, out of them all. That's really cool. I really enjoyed that one. Right. Cool. I really want to spend a minute looking at other people's solutions, and I want to get started on today's, but I am gonna jump off. I need to eat food. But yeah, cheers for your help again, Chris. That was really helpful. Alrighty, enjoy your evening.